This part of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's investigation into securities cases has been going on for a long time. The result of Chevron's high-profile lawsuit could end this investigation. The court's ruling means that regulators can no longer rule over people. Friday was the day that the Supreme Court overturned a decision that had given the federal government a lot of power to regulate things for a long time. It was ruled in 1984 that regulatory agencies like the Securities and Exchange Commission could change rules without Congress's permission. This case is called Chevron v. National Resources Defense Council. In this case, it was shown that when the text of a law isn't clear, the judges should follow the decisions and experience of regulators. The people in charge of these regulations were known for giving their own interpretations of the rules they were supposed to enforce. Because they had so much respect, regulators continued to move on time-sensitive situations while they were waiting for Congress to pass new laws. Chief Justice John Roberts finally came to the conclusion that the Chevron deference rule could no longer be used. In his speech, he talked about how the idea lets agencies change their plans, even if they don't get permission from Congress. On the other hand, Vice President Joe Biden's administration is appealing the Supreme Court's ruling and asking it to uphold the Chevron deference standard. The term that the government used to describe it was the most important part of administrative law. The Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) is cracking down on cryptocurrency companies. The SEC is currently going after a number of cryptocurrency platforms, including some of the biggest names in the market. Because of this Chevron deference rule, the agency made its crackdown approach stronger. The commission kept using the Howey test as the main reason for why cryptocurrency trade on exchanges should be stopped. The commission has made fun of a number of cryptocurrency exchanges such as Coinbase, Binance, and Kraken because they are thought to be selling registered stocks online. A case between Ripple and the Securities and Exchange Commission seat that lasted 3 years happened because the SEC kept calling XRP a security. Because of this, the Supreme Court's decision set a standard for all the crypto cases that are still going on because Coinbase wouldn't follow the Freedom of Information Act. The commission is in the process of suing the company because of an email request. There is also the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation involved in this case, and the cryptocurrency exchange has asked the court to order both of these organizations to give them the information they have asked for. This new discovery is interesting because it happened just a few hours after the Supreme Court said that people accused of fraud had the right to a trial by a jury in federal court. This ruling limited the power of the Securities and Exchange Commission to the U.S. SEC. The Supreme Court of the United States has done a great job of breaking down the Chevron deference theory. This has changed how courts will read government rules. Before this case, courts often left it up to government agencies to figure out what the law meant when it wasn't clear. This case shows a big change from that. A group of 6 judges chosen by Republicans backed the overthrow. The decision means that judges, not agency experts, will be able to interpret these kinds of laws. This could have an impact on many areas of regulation, such as environmental and consumer safety rules. Because Chevron was overturned, the agency's interpretive power went down. This is because Congress ended Chevron's deference, which meant that federal agencies had less interpretative power in areas of regulatory issues. In the past, agencies like the Environmental Protection Agency, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the IPA have been able to use their expert opinion on tough issues that fall under their purview thanks to judicial deference. This new decision by the court means that federal judges will no longer have to depend on agency interpretations when they come across congressional provisions that can be interpreted in different ways. With the implementation of this change, a new era of legal interpretation begins, one in which judges are given the power to come to these decisions on their own. Because of this, regulatory officials might need help to make sure that the rules that are already in place are followed, because agency views no longer provide the clarity they did in the past. There may be more cases because of this change. Also, businesses that are regulated by these agencies might have trouble figuring out how to deal with the changing rules of government oversight. This uncertainty affects the environmental management and telecommunications industries too. In both of these fields, advice from regulators is needed to make decisions about operations and strategies. Because AC merged, Fetch has confirmed that there are choices for manual conversion. The Supreme Court's decision makes lawsuits against Ripple and Coinbase stronger. It's possible that this Supreme Court decision will have direct effects on the Bitcoin business, especially on Ripple and Coinbase. Furthermore, the decision is especially important given the ongoing legal fights these companies are having with the CC. One example is how the Stocks and Exchange Commission has interpreted the Securities Act. This has something to do with Ripple's disagreement with the SEC over whether or not its xrp+ripple are stocks. The Chevron framework said that the judges should trust the SEC's knowledge. Additionally, the judges will give their own reading of these laws, which could be helpful for Ripple's case in the ongoing one between XRP and the SEC. This decision gives Coinbase's case against the Securities and Exchange Commission more steam. It will now have to deal with claims that it runs an unregistered securities exchange. It is Coinbase's case that its activities are not regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. This may now have a better chance of being accepted in court. The courts may take less strict views on what the law considers to be a security now that Chevron is no longer being followed. If crypto companies agree with this, it might mean that their products need to meet the traditional requirements set out in the Howey test. For example, Binance's BNB are not securities. It was decided by the Second Circuit Court that secondary trades involving crypto assets are not securities, which the judge also agrees with. With this example as a guide, cryptocurrency companies can fight CC rules. Bill Morgan, an attorney who supports XRP, said he was happy with the decision and thought it was good news for XRP holders and the cryptocurrency community as a whole. The ruling also makes it clear that if the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC appeals the summary judgment Judge Torres gave, the case could go all the way to the Second Circuit Court. Judge Amy Berman Jackson did not agree with the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC when they said that a cryptocurrency token is always thought of as a financial contract. Morgan talks about this. She thought that the points of view shown in the Ripple and Telegram cases helped her understand and support her position on the issue. He makes it clear that Judge Tar's decision about whether or not XRP is a security is now being used as an example in court. And Consensus will use Binance's new decision to support their legal claims. This means that the SEC can no longer say that the Ripple order was an isolated decision. The information given is not meant to be taken as trade advice. Any purchases made based on the information on this page are not the responsibility of the people who made them. Before making any investment decisions, you should definitely do your own study and talk to a professional.